Now we're heading towards Orchard Knob, part of the Chattanooga National Park. So let's go check out Orchard Knob. Orchard Knob Reservation is part of the Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park, and it's the smallest unit of the park, consisting of only 2 city blocks. If you haven't had the opportunity and you want to learn more about the battles for Chattanooga, make sure you check out my other videos, the Battles for Chattanooga Electric Mapping Museum and the Prelude to the Battles of Chattanooga, to learn more on what happened here in Chattanooga in 1863 during the Civil War. We are currently walking along Orchard Knob Avenue. What many might not know is this is the very location atop that hill and through those iron gates some 160 years ago. On November 23rd, 1863 was the site of the Battle of Orchard Knob. To understand the locations crucial to Chattanooga, it is imperative to understand the terrain here in Chattanooga, to understand troop movements and the sequence of battles that took place here between November 23rd and November 25th, 1863. And there is no better place than atop Orchard Knob, which gives you a panoramic view of the city of Chattanooga and the places that were etched into history. After the devastating defeat at the Battle of Chickamauga, General Rosecrans and the Army of the Cumberland retreated back to the city of Chattanooga. From the top of Orchard Knob, looking west down this street, was the location where the Union Army was stationed during the siege at Chattanooga. Chattanooga at the time of the Civil War was a small city, and I'll circle on this map the area which was originally Chattanooga at the time of the Civil War. The outskirts of Chattanooga consisted of Fort Wood and Fort Negley to protect the Union forces. Grant and Hooker's forces were ordered to Chattanooga. General Grant replaced General Rosecrans and was stationed here, arriving on October 23rd, 1863. He made his headquarters at the Richardson House on 320 Walnut Street, and then moved his headquarters to the T.J. Latner House at the corner of First and Walnut. It was while in this house General Grant would plan his attacks that drove the Confederate forces from Chattanooga. Now that we've established where the Union forces were stationed, let's discuss where the Confederate forces were stationed during the Siege of Chattanooga, which lasted from about October to November 25th, 1863. From the top of Orchard Knob, look into the southwest is Lookout Mountain, where the Confederate brigades of Brown and Pettus were stationed in what is now known as Point Park. Walthall and Moore's brigades were stationed some 100 feet below Point Park on the slopes of Lookout Mountain, where the Battle of Lookout Mountain, or also known as the Battle Above the Clouds, happened on November 24th. In the next episode, we'll go into more depth and see what happened during the Battle Above the Clouds. Heading northwest from Lookout Mountain, these are the views from Orchard Knob of Raccoon Mountain and Lookout Valley. It was through this valley the famous Cracker Line made its way to Brown's Ferry, to Moccasin Bend, and to the Union headquarters. Now looking east from Orchard Knob is Missionary Ridge that reaches to the north near Chickamauga Creek, heading south to Rossville Gap. And it is here, in this approximate area, Sherman's forces would build a pontoon bridge across the Tennessee River and attack the north side of Missionary Ridge. In a future episode, we'll go into more depth about the Battle of Missionary Ridge that happened on November 24th and 25th, 1863. As you can see on this map, the Confederate forces had the Union Army surrounded to the south of the Tennessee River. Once General Sherman's army arrived in Chattanooga on November 20th, 1863, Grant's plans could go in motion, where General Sherman's army would launch an attack against the Confederate right on Missionary Ridge. in an area known as Tunnel Hill. In this approximate area, viewed from atop Orchard Knob, Major General Joseph Hooker would attack the Confederate left in an area called Rossville Gap, while General Thomas would attack the middle of Missionary Ridge in a support role. When General Bushrod Johnson of the Confederate Army was ordered to leave Missionary Ridge and support Longstreet's army in Knoxville, General Grant received intel that the Confederate Army was leaving Missionary Ridge. Altering his plans slightly, Grant ordered General Thomas to investigate if the Confederate Army was retreating. On the morning of the 23rd, the Union Army would assemble outside of Fort Wood, 20,000 strong. General Thomas ordered 2 divisions under Gordon Granger's 4 Corps with the 6th Corps under General Howard to investigate if the Confederacy was leaving their position atop Missionary Ridge. Major General Philip Sheridan and Brigadier General Thomas J. Wood were tasked with this reconnaissance mission. They would leave their posts and assemble for what appeared to be a parade. The Confederate forces atop Orchard Knob thought it was just a show, while General Bragg atop Missionary Ridge at his headquarters, now located in an area called Bragg's Reservation, thought they were chasing Longstreet's army to Knoxville. Although the Battle of Orchard Knob only took minutes, you can't underestimate the importance that this battle had. The ramifications from this skirmish gave the Union Army a high ground with fantastic panoramic views of Confederate troop placement and destroyed the inner picket line of the Confederate Army in Chattanooga. It was on this hill for the rest of the Battle of Chattanooga Ulysses S. Grant would make his headquarters during the Battle of Lookout Mountain and Battle of Missionary Ridge. At just before 2 p.m. in the afternoon on November 23rd, after marching and performing drills all morning, the Union Army made its way to Orchard Knob. Imagine the sounds of battle cries as the signal cannon fired. The bugles blared, giving the command to attack Orchard Knob. Orchard Knob was defended by approximately 300 Confederates, part of General Arthur Manigault's brigade, consisting of the 24th Alabama. As the Union Army reached the base of Orchard Knob, the Confederates only fired 1 volley. The Union Army engaged in return fire and sent the Confederate forces retreating to Missionary Ridge. General Thomas J. Wood and his units reached the top of Orchard Knob. Once atop of the knob, Thomas J. Wood signaled from the top to General Thomas that they had secured Orchard Knob. Although it was not the Union Army's main objective to secure Orchard Knob on that day, General Thomas responded, "Hold on, don't come back, you've got too much, entrench your positions." Let's walk through the Illinois Monument. As day 1 of the breakout from the siege of Chattanooga ended, Union forces has pushed the middle picket lines back to Missionary Ridge. On the final 2 days of the battles for Chattanooga, General Grant would use this position as his headquarters and send orders for the final 2 days of combat at Lookout Mountain and Missionary Ridge. Alright, heading back down to my car. Let's take a hike down Orchard Knob now. In part 3 of this series, we will explore the Battle of Lookout Mountain on November 24th, 1863. Make sure you check back if you want to learn more about the battles for Chattanooga. I want to thank you all for watching. Until the next one.